Welcome to Weather and Climate Chat. I'm your host, Monsoon Mike, and normally we'd have our co-host, Dr. Michael Davis, in the studio with us, but Dr. Davis unable to guest host today, so I have our intern, Quinn Flory, in the studio. Quinn, welcome.
Hi.
And I'm just going to throw it out there. I got to embarrass myself here, but why not? This is actually the second time we're recording this because I accidentally deleted the last recording. So we get to pretty much repeat everything we just said.
Yeah, we were about
lost in cyberspace.
6 minutes into the recording?
Yeah,
it's okay.
It could be worse.
It happens.
Believe me, I'm sure you and I have lost worse things over the years.
It happens.
On computers. So, all right. So what we were talking about before I did that was that there hasn't really been a whole lot to talk about. So we were talking about not a whole lot to talk about because our weather's been so unusually warm and dry for Pennsylvania for this time of year, which I'm not too happy about because I like snow.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been very active in this weather season. We've experienced a lot of rain and a lot of weird overcast days that are just like meh. Like they're just nothing's happening.
And some people are asking why it's been so warm, and there's a number of different factors. One of the biggest ones that some meteorologists are pointing to is something called the AO, the Arctic Oscillation.
Yeah.
You've heard of that?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Okay, and that's basically what that is it's an atmospheric pattern in the Arctic that causes, that affects storm tracks and the jet stream down our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And the Arctic Oscillation happens to be in such a configuration that all of the storm tracks have been pretty much going to our west instead of the east, which is bringing in warmer air.
Yeah.
And we're getting all these warm spells, and everything's been pretty much rain instead of snow.
Yeah, it's not been pushing down like it normally has over us in the past couple years.
No, and that's the pattern that we're in. And if we look at the Climate Prediction Center's, what they think is going to happen over the next 8 to 14 days, they have us in the red and the green, which implies that they're thinking that general pattern of above normal temperatures and above normal precipitation, in other words, for the layperson, warm and wet, continues for the next 15 days. Yeah,
we'll be seeing a lot of rain, except for this weekend. This weekend calls for really sunny skies and pretty mild temperatures.
Right, and I should mention that 8 to 14 day pattern, that is a general pattern.
Right.
We can definitely get breaks, and God knows we need a break from all this rain. We're tired of it, and we're going to after this rain on Thursday, we're actually going to string together maybe 3 or 4 mainly sunny days from Friday through Monday. So that's good.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have a pretty weekend on campus.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking forward to that. We do have a transient, and that's the other thing about these patterns. Just because it's generally warm doesn't mean it's always warm, and with a pattern like this, we tend to definitely have some transient shots of cold. We have a transient shot of cold coming on Friday and Saturday with temperatures only in the low 30s and a gusty wind, so it'll actually feel like winter for a change on Friday. Yeah. But look, Quinn, just that fast, Sunday and Monday we're back up in the mid to upper 40s. So these shots, in this particular kind of pattern, these shots don't last long.
Yeah, right. Well, if the wind is moving pretty quickly, too, you'll have these systems get pushed in and out super fast, and they won't be able to sit very long in this area.
Right. So, and I think that's the way they use the term progressive pattern with that. And it's a progressive pattern. Things are moving. They're not stalling. And even with all the rain we had this past week, I mean, it wasn't just one particular storm. It was several low-pressure systems that rode along and just, the fronts, and just it was an active stretch.
Yeah, they just feed right into each other and suck up each other's moisture.
So there you have it, folks. As for our weather, I mean, not a whole lot to talk about. If you like rain and you like warmth and you hate snow, this is your winter. If you like snow, like we do, this is not a good winter. We actually finally will see some sunshine for the weekend, which is a thumbs up, so we're happy about that. And other than that, not a whole lot to talk about. And it looks like once we get into the deep part of next week, Tuesday, maybe some more rain. So again, this general pattern continues.
I'm tired of the rain.
Yeah. So we'll just move now on to our climate topic. And we were talking about our climate topic being, we're talking about record warmth around here, that we're not the only area that's had some record warmth. Antarctica made worldwide news last week when it hit a record high of 64.9 degrees on the continent, which is, if you round that up, 65. So now I know some people would argue, well, it's Antarctica, it's southern hemisphere, it's summertime down there, but still, 65 degrees in Antarctica is a little odd and concerning.
Yeah, I'm extremely concerned about it with how low Antarctica is placed. It's alarming that it's so warm.
and we were talking when we were recording this the first time that, you can't really blame climate change for one particular event or occurrence. However, when you have a lot of these one-time events happening as frequently as they are now, that's when it gets concerning.
Yeah.
And this is on the heels of Australia being on fire.
Mm-hmm.
This is on the heels of massive flooding, I believe in India or somewhere recently. This is on the heels of some really strange weather in England. So when you put that all together and you start connecting
Mm-hmm.
the dots, it's like that's when it starts to be a little bit weird.
Yeah. Like I was saying in our first recording of this, that the Earth is a balanced system and it tries to balance itself out in different parts of the world. So a part of the world that could be like substantially like warmer could get extremely hot or extremely dry, and then in another part of the world where it's cold it could warm just because it's balancing itself out, or it could become even wetter like in India. It all depends on how the Earth is going to balance itself out.
Right. Absolutely. And I think the more we see these kind of things happen, like you said, there's got to be that balance. So I think if you have extreme weather, again, we're not the experts like Dr. Davis, but if you have the extreme weather in one way, you're going to have extreme weather perhaps in the other way too.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of times you see these really blazingly hot summers followed by a bad winter. This year, not a bad winter so far, at least.
Yeah, we've had a pretty mild winter.
Unless something crazy happens in March or April, which still could happen, but at least at this point, not really looking that way. But yeah, I mean, these are the type of things that we have to, again, not to be alarmists, not to upset some people that are, oh, you're being alarmist. It's just one fluke. Okay, it's a fluke, but let's just keep our eye on it because I think we're seeing more of these flukes than we should be seeing.
Right. My worry is that if Antarctica still continues to warm, that it's going to mess with the thermodynamics of the ocean.
Absolutely.
And I've taken 2 oceanography classes here at Kutztown, and there's a process in the ocean, in the lower parts of the ocean, that when with saltwater in density, if it gets too like pure, like if the water gets too if the salinity level gets too low, it can reverse or completely shut down the cycle, and that can really throw off the balance of our planet.
It throws off the whole system. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that cycle is a natural phenomenon that happens, and we don't know what could happen if that cycle is damaged. It could be astronomical.
Absolutely. When we don't realize how such little things can affect other things.
I think people don't realize is that this planet is very sensitive to change, and that it affects different places on this planet differently than like here in Kutztown.
Right. Good stuff. Well, not good stuff, but good conversation, but concerning
good
stuff.
insight, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I'm glad I messed up the first time because I think we did better that second time there. You threw some really good ones in there the second time there.
Yeah,
so
thanks.
Everything happens for a reason. So, yeah, so I think when we just have to be aware of these sort of things and, again, what can we do? Sometimes we feel helpless as individuals, but, do what we can, little things, recycling, eco-friendly things, and, of course, voting in candidates that are going to try to reverse these changes.
Yeah, there's a lot of people my age who have now been following politics and really getting into it and voting now because if
we don't have a planet, we have nothing.
If we don't have a future for ourselves that's healthy and I guess worth living for, then what's the point?
As I always say to Dr. Davis, we can argue about every other topic under the sun, but without a planet to argue those topics on, we're kind of out of luck.
Right.
So what's the use of arguing for things that are, if we don't have a venue to live?
Yeah.
And that's the main point.
It's scary.
It is, but let's not be discouraged by it. Let's just make that inspire us to make change.
Exactly.
Positive change.
Exactly. Get educated.
Right. So 10 minutes, that's a good amount of time for our podcast. I'm going to make sure I save this with, very careful hands now so we don't have to do it a third time. We'll hopefully get Dr. Davis to rejoin us again next week.
Yeah.
And for now, this is Monson Mike and Quinn Flory signing off, and thanks for listening to Weather and Climate Chat.